Hey YouTube, I'm Lucky, and in today's video we're going to be covering the topic of I think Trials of Osiris needs matchmaking inside Destiny 2 because right now the player base is looking okay, but it's about to fall off a steep cliff. Let me explain further. This week right now we have the Adept Astral Horizon and a brand new Adept mod that no one has ever gotten before in the game. So this is a week more incentivized than almost any weeks prior to Trials in a long time. The Adept Astral Horizon with Quick Draw Opening Shot is an S tier weapon for Crucible, and the new magazine mod is just the icing on the cake for going flawless. And yet still, if we look at the real-time activity of everyone inside Destiny 2, here we have the charts right here. Currently inside the game, Trials of Osiris is out. This is the hottest weekend of Trials ever. Like, it's really not going to get any better than this weekend. In my opinion, this is going to be the peak weekend for Trials throughout all of Beyond Light. And yet still, look at the numbers. We have 36% of the player base overall right now is in Patrol, 13% is in Story, 13% in Crucible, 11% of the entire player base in Strikes, and Nightfall has 6.9%, the Raid has 5.9%, and even Gambit has more players than Trials right now at 5.4%. Trials has 4.4% of the player base. So you're telling me that Bungie has put arguably the best loot that they possibly can at the Lighthouse for Trials of Osiris, and people still aren't playing it? Why is that? In my opinion, and the opinion of everyone that comes into my Twitch chat regularly, Trials needs matchmaking. Countless people try to use LFGs in order to create Trials teams, and they just get turned down. You know, Trials LFGs can be extremely toxic, must have 1.8 KD, must have 100 flawlesses, must have Galahorn. The LFG standards are just set way too high for the average player, and that's why we're seeing such a low percentage of the player base playing Trials. Now, I'm not saying matchmaking is going to solve all the problems of Trials, because stasis and being constantly frozen is still an issue, and certainly a lot of these match-made teams are probably not going to get flawless. But what it will do is it will give people at least a taste of what Trials is like. For those that can't put together a fire team, you can at least queue in, and I feel like anyone could get lucky and win 3 games. And if you were to win 3 games this week, guess what? You get the Astral Horizon. And if you were, for whatever crazy reason, had the best RNG and the first Astral Horizon that ever drops to you gets Quick Draw Opening Shot, you now have an S tier weapon in the game, thanks to Trials matchmaking. And if that isn't enough to incentivize people to want to then go to the Lighthouse and to try again and again and again and put together a better and stronger team to get the Adept version of that weapon, then I don't know what will. Like, I get it, PvP is not for everyone. And Trials is meant to be an endgame activity. It's meant to be comparably as difficult to the Raids, which don't have matchmaking, and to Grandmaster Nightfalls and the other high-ranking Nightfalls, which also don't have matchmaking. But honestly, and you can disagree with me in the comments below if you feel differently, I feel like matchmaking with Raids, you know, you have 6 people that are going to be thrown together. With certain Raids, I feel like it would be disastrous, like the Last Wish. I can't imagine that being successful. But with like the new Raid, the Deepstone Crypt, honestly, I feel like a 6-made matchmaking team could probably beat the Deepstone Crypt. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're out there watching this, if you have never jumped into Trials, or if you rarely jump into Trials, do you think that if matchmaking was added to Trials that you'd jump in? And I'm not proposing to take away the fire team loading of Trials. Obviously, you'd still have the option to put together a fire team of 3 and then go in, or you could just solo queue in. I can't help but feel like this would get the player base numbers up, and this is definitely what Trials is going to need, especially as we go into later weeks of this season. And the Adept loot is about to get worse and worse and worse. If you don't know right now, the only 3 respectable weapons inside the Crucible meta that you can get from the Lighthouse is the Summoner Auto Rifle, the Astral Horizon Shotgun, and the Eye of Soul Sniper. So if next week is the Eye of Soul, the player base for Trials will be pretty good. But after the Eye of Soul week, the player count is going to fall off of a steep cliff because no one's really going to give a shit about an Adept version of the Exile's Curse. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and make sure to subscribe with notifications on if you want to stay up to date on all things going on in Destiny 2 Beyond Light. And I'll see you in the next video. Later.